The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3. Let's welcome back to the show. It's been a couple months. Lots has happened. So, without further ado, welcome Jacinda Thorn from the Kapiti Chamber of Commerce and Thorn PR. G'day, Jacinda.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, this week's been completely unexpected.
Yeah.
To put it simply, but no, I'm good. I'm really good.
Excellent. Mate, it has been since the 10th of June that we talked. I think back then, I think it was there or thereabouts, we were changing levels again. It's been another crazy time. So how have the last 2 months been for you?
It's actually really interesting. I am quite surprised it's been 2 months because it feels like it's been less.
2020,
but,
mate.
The last 2 months have actually been fantastic. The Chamber has gone through a period of having no events, and then we had our first event late July, and it was like incredible. We had 80 businesses come along to it. It was celebrating Minx and Super Minx's 20th birthday, and we held it at the newly renovated Joe and Joy in Waikanai. And the mood in the room was just incredible. Like, people were feeling really optimistic. Everyone is busy. No one I spoke to was struggling. If anything, it was more at the other end of, how do we keep up with demand? And then we've had other events come into the calendar. So we've got our first Women in Business event since March in the calendar for next Thursday. So we're just waiting to see what happens with that. And we've had our membership year roll over, and we've got so many new members joining the Chamber.
Awesome.
It's actually been phenomenal. And I'm feeling really positive about, the next 12 months for the Chamber and how we can help each other, especially now that we're looking at level 2 again, and we're obviously waiting to see what happens tomorrow. And the one thing I really want to stress to everyone is resilience is going to be really important, because I think we got a little comfortable for a while thinking it was done and dusted. However, there's always that little voice in the back of your mind saying you've got to prepare for another level 2, 3, 4. And so now it's arrived. I just really want to make sure everyone's, thinking about the long term as well as the short term, because resilience has been the key number one factor that's got a lot of businesses through.
Absolutely. Hey, you talk about those numbers going up. Is there a correlation there to how successful you guys put yourselves out during COVID? The support, I've banged on about it the last couple of months, is just how big the support network is in the Kapiti Coast. Just everybody willing to help each other out, and there are so many things, webinars, groups, chambers that are just there to help. Yeah.
I'd like to think so. Our webinar series that we ran, we began in April and it wrapped up at the end of July. It was so successful, and every week we had a different topic. Yep. And a different speaker. And all of these sessions were aimed at equipping businesses with the tools and tips and tricks they need to get through COVID. And, towards the end, we were getting like 50, 60 registrations and views of these things once they've gone live. And normally when we do these kinds of things in real life, it's been quite hard to attract people to come along. So that was something that was delivered in partnership with KCDC. So I want to thank them for their support with that, because, during COVID, we all kind of had to scramble to think, how are we going to help our businesses, because it was so unknown. And I think the benefit we've got from having just finished that business series is that a lot of these tips are still fresh in people's minds. And now we've been here before and we kind of know what to expect within each of our own businesses. I'm hoping that there'll be just a little bit less stress or uncertainty about how to deal with some of the issues that are going to come our way soon.
Yes. Uncertainty indeed. We are here now. It is level 2. You did mention a bit, not complacent, but we did become a bit relaxed. Are we overstressing for people, and maybe more in Auckland, for the rest of the country to go down a level and start worrying about this thing again?
No, I don't think we are. If you've looked at some of those graphs overseas, where you watch places like Melbourne that had, a handful of cases like we've got now, and then they waited, and it's just devastating what's happening over there in Melbourne. I'm of the preference that it's better we go hard and go early and try and get things back on track as fast as we can. And I guess the other concern is I've read some of the reports from epidemiologists who think the virus could have been in the Auckland community for at least a couple of weeks, before it's actually showing up in the family that has the 4 initial cases. So the best thing we can do is economically, I guess, is, reduce our contact as much as we can, and then adapt our businesses to get through whatever comes our way. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen tomorrow when they'll probably give us, we've got 2 ways, either it'll stay the same or it'll probably increase the levels. I'm not sure yet. No one is. But I'm really interested to see what they say tomorrow and what their plans are for stamping it out.
It'd be interesting to see what they can actually find out in 3 days to make that call. It's interesting. So we talk about being here before. We have, and we did it at level 4 where it was full lockdown, everything closed. So you talk about adapting. What do we need to do to just continue forward? Is it business as usual, but social distancing, using the app, etc.? Like we just have to keep on moving forward, don't we?
Yeah, well, all businesses now have to have the QR code. So that's one thing I really want to stress to businesses. If you are open and public-facing, then you need a QR code and you need to download that and get that sorted as soon as you can, because I understand there will be penalties if you don't display it. Right. Download the app. I was having this conversation with my husband. I was like, where were you 2 weeks ago? Because he was really reluctant to download it. He was like, you can just track where I've been, together. And I was like, but where were you 2 weeks ago? And he had no idea. So, download the app. But on the business front, places like Xero and others have done some really cool tools on your short-term cash flow and predicting, what your cash flow is going to look like over the next month to 2 months. And so, if you're not a numbers person, talk to your accountant and make sure you've got a bit of a runway there to, if we do go into lockdown again, just in case. If you understand the numbers, get familiar with them, do your forecasting. That's the number one thing, because cash flow will be the downfall of business if you can't forecast it accurately and we go into lockdown and you don't have as much business. Making sure we get that stuff sorted. If you have staff, communicate with them regularly, be open about it. Sam Pritchard, who's on our board, deputy chair, he was saying to me yesterday, they've been talking about COVID for at least the last 3 weeks in their Monday meetings, and making sure that everyone understands if there was a level change, how they would adapt as a business, and then making sure that your team, if we do need to work at home, can work at home. And we've been here and done it before, so it's a little bit, I would hope, a little bit easier this time, and you've already got systems in place. And then the other thing is just keep talking to your communities and your customers. At times like this, I've started to see, again, we've seen the rise of the we're in this together, be kind. And I really can't underestimate the impact that has. Like, it makes people feel safe and secure. So talk to your customers and, make sure that they know that you are doing everything you can to keep them safe. And also, that you're also looking after your own team at the same time.
I know you would have been talking to a lot of people over the last couple of days. So, clients and chamber alike, what is the feel of the people out there that you've been talking to this early on?
I think it took people by surprise. That was the initial response. We weren't expecting a press conference at 9:30 on Tuesday night. And then, I've seen some of the clients I work with already have plans in place, so they've already activated them. Nice. And for them, business is normal now under those levels. Locally, I think there are some small businesses out there who may have just got on their feet again after COVID, and have, either paid off debt or, got themselves back into a position they were in March. And I know that they're stressed. And so it's just reassuring people that if you tap into the networks and, if you have plans in place already, just, reactivate what you can and take it day by day.
Absolutely. And lastly, mate, as always, you've got several things on the go, but you guys always like people reaching up. So how can people find you? How can they get in touch?
So Facebook, you can look for Kapiti Chamber, and then we're at kapitichamber.org.nz, and you can email us at admin@kapitichamber.org.nz. And if, anyone out there is stressed or they're uncertain or they want to be connected with someone who can help, that's our job. So, we're here to help the business community.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. Go well, look after yourself, and let's hope it's not another 2 months before we talk again.
You too.